Good afternoon, everyone. Dr. Pierce here with another video. Today's video is going to be some tips and tricks on how to avoid hurting yourself while you're at home doing your do-it-yourself project. Enjoy.
Here's a tip. Try not to do any do-it-yourself projects in your flip-flops. They just fall off, get caught on ladder rungs, and you don't want to have anything fall on your toes like your shears or a pot. That just doesn't feel good. Go back and get some good boots, or if you don't have boots, use your sneakers. Once you've got your good boots on, and again, if you don't have your work boots, just use a good pair of sneakers, or remember those old running shoes? Don't throw them away. Keep them for gardening shoes. I also recommend long pants and long sleeves. This does two things. Protects you from the sun, and it's going to protect you from any bugs, scratches, or scrapes you might get from working in the dirt or any thorny bushes. Okay, first tip for everyone. A lot of you are probably going to be digging. Some good tips for digging is you want to make sure you start with a good shovel, a good dirt shovel. You want to make sure that it's not a gravel shovel or a shovel that's not going to be too much work to dig in dirt. There's actually a proper shovel for it. Number two, I want you to bend your knees, use your strong legs. And when you're digging down the dirt, oftentimes it helps to switch sides. Dig with your left hand forward, then switch, dig with your right hand forward. Switch positions often. That way you'll be less likely to strain your back or one side of your body at the same time. Now as you're digging, you're going to realize that the hole is going to be getting deeper and you're going to be bending over forward a little farther than before, especially if you're using those post-hole diggers where you're going to dig a hole. As the hole gets deeper, you have to bend over more. The best thing to do is drop to your knees and continue to dig. Let's pause here for a minute and talk about some ways to protect your knees. If you guys have some sore, achy knees or some arthritic knees, it really helps to have a knee pad. You can use those knee pads for gardening. If you don't have one of those, just use, this is a piece of foam I found from a box that was shipped to us. Works great for a kneeling pad, nice and firm. If you don't have one of those things, well, since we're not going to the beach, you can always use a big old beach towel. Fold that sucker up and it works really well for a nice knee pad. If you don't have a beach towel, well, remember those flip-flops you were supposed to take off at the beginning of the video? Well, they actually work great for a knee pad. Use those things. Now, back to digging. Now that your hole's gotten pretty deep, or if you're digging a post hole with a post hole digger and you've gotten pretty deep, drop to those knees and continue to dig. This will bring your whole mass down much lower, and it's much more effective to dig deeper in the hole if you're on your knees. This also saves your back from bending over. Then once you're here, you can form your bridge like we talked about in the last video by leaning over, digging down, switching arms, and working more effectively deeper in that hole. For using longer instruments like a rake, and this even applies for if you're going to be mopping, sweeping, vacuuming, shoveling, use short strokes, bend your knees, use your strong legs, and switch sides often. Go from right hand to front to left hand to front. This mixes up the usage of your body and keeps it equal from left to right. That way you won't risk straining one side or the other. All right, let's talk about lifting. Gotta lift this pot. Let's use our squat. Squat down, keeping the back straight. Use your strong legs. Stand straight up. Or you can use the lunge. Remember that flip-flop? Well, you can use it again as your knee pad. Take a knee, lunge, lift that load with the back straight, and up you go. And the third method, form a bridge. Lean over on something, the wall, a table, a chair. The bridge disperses the load away from your low back. And if you've got some other things around the house, take a look if you've got a skateboard, a wagon, a wheelbarrow. These are ways you can actually avoid lifting and use these items just to place the item right on top and then roll that sucker away. Works really good. Or remember that beach towel? Well, you can use that too. And if you don't have a beach towel, you can use a tarp or a sheet. This works great. You don't even have to lift the load. You can just roll it right onto the tarp or the towel or the sheet. And you can slide it all the way across the yard. You can slide bags of mulch, gravel, large pots, actually pretty heavy things. This technique works really well. Let's talk about working on things overhead. A lot of people get neck strains, rotator cuff strains by overreaching for something that they just can't quite reach. The first thing you should do is take 5 seconds, go get a stool. Save yourself that injury. Step up on the stool, then go ahead and reach for your task. This is a great way to avoid overstretching, overarching, or straining something. If that project then comes too far and you're going to slip off, take a break, go get the ladder. Again, take that 4 or 5 seconds, go get something taller that'll get you to right where you need to be. Make sure the ladder locks are completely locked out and all 4 legs are stable on the ground before climbing. Keep 3 points of contact, 2 feet in one hand or 2 hands and 1 foot as you climb. Keep all your tools in your pockets until you're all the way up. Do your maneuver, then climb down the same way. If you find yourself in a spot where you can't reach everything from that step ladder, climb down and get a bigger ladder. And the same rules apply with the bigger ladder. You want to have 3 points of contact, 2 feet in one hand, hand over foot, or 2 hands and 1 foot as you climb. Try not to climb the ladder with tools in your hands. Keep your tools in your pockets or in a tool belt. Then, once you're up the ladder, securely in place, you can do your repairs and your maintenance. And then when you're finished, put the tools back in your pockets or back into your tool belt, and then climb down using 3 points of contact. Now, when you're up on the ladder, it's important to have nice, sharp tools. If you're up that ladder and your tools are dull, you're going to put more effort into it and risk falling down. If those old shears are not cutting, get rid of them and get a nice pair of sharp, new trimmers. This will make your life a heck of a lot easier once you're up that ladder. You won't fall off as easy. And remember, the rule is nothing thicker than a piece of licorice for hand shears. If the branches start getting bigger than that, switch to your larger shears. And remember, with the larger shears, you don't really want to cut anything thicker than your little finger. If that's the case, you're going to have to move to a hand saw or the chainsaw. Remember, it's easier to use the next bigger sharp tool than risk overforcing it and falling off. That's it for our do-it-yourself tips. Thank you.